Why a steel block sinks but a steel ship floats? Let's explore this science topic. A steel block sinks in water because of two main reasons. First, density of the metal. Second, buoyant force acting on the metal. Let's first learn about the volume of the metal before moving on to density. Volume of the metal is the amount of space that is contained within the metal. It is calculated using the formula volume equals length multiplied by width multiplied by height. Density of a metal is the measure of how much matter is packed in the volume of the metal. The formula for density is mass divided by volume. An object with high density has a lot of mass concentrated in a relatively small volume. This means its particles or molecules are tightly packed together. For example, a block of steel have high density because they are heavy for their size. Density of the steel block is 7.8 grams per cubic centimeter. Density of the metal. Density of steel block is 7.8 grams per cubic centimeter. Density of water is approximately 1 gram per cubic centimeter. Steel block density is greater than water density, hence the steel block sinks. Buoyant force acting on the metal. Objects experience an upward force, buoyant force, when placed in a fluid like water, and this force is equal to the weight of the fluid displaced by the object. And solid steel block is heavy and compact. When dropped in water, it sinks immediately because steel block displaces water equal to its volume, not its weight. The weight of the displaced water will be less than the weight of the steel block. This causes the block to sink. Everything in water experiences an upward push, the buoyant force. This force is caused by the water displaced by the object. The water displaced by the steel block is not enough to balance its heavy weight. The buoyant force is too small, so it sinks. The steel ship floats in water because of two main reasons. First, density of the ship. Second, buoyant force acting on the ship. How a steel ship floats. Now, look at this giant steel ship. It's made of same metal, but it floats perfectly. The secret? It's all in the shape. The steel is dense and compact, but steel ship is shaped to spread its weight. It's hollow and wide, so it pushes away a large volume of water. Density of the ship. A ship is big and light inside like a floating ball, so its density is lower than water. That's why it floats. The presence of air reduces the ship's overall average density, making it less dense than water. Density of water is approximately 1 gram per cubic centimeter. Density of steel ship is 0.5 to 0.9 gram per cubic centimeter. The ship's density is lesser than water density, hence the ship floats. Buoyant force acting on the ship. The ships are constructed with hollow hulls filled with air. This design allows the ship to displace a large volume of water. The weight of this displaced water is equal to the total weight of the ship and its cargo, and this displaced water exerts an upward buoyant force that keeps the ship afloat. Cargo ship, cruise ship, oil tanker ship. Real ships carry thousands of tons, but their smart shape and size let them push out enough water to float even when full.